What's up, Taiwan? I'm Yvonne Yang. Thanks for joining us on TaiwanPlus. President Ching-te is the latest target in the mounting efforts across the country to remove politicians through recalls. Opposition leaders vowed to try and remove Lai following a mass protest in Taipei on Saturday, raising the stakes once again in the escalating battle between the ruling and opposition parties. Chris Goring reports.
Mounting recall movements across Taiwan may be about to reach all the way to the top.
他就职满1年，只剩下24天，看你愿不愿意悔悟，愿不愿意好好的团结台湾，愿不愿意好好的做事情，否则520开始，全民罢免赖清德，好不好？
The announcement made at a protest outside the presidential office that organizers say drew more than 200,000 people. The opposition KMT says they'll start the process to recall President Lai on May 20th, exactly 1 year since he took office. They accuse Lai of acting like a dictator and weaponizing the legal system against rivals, following criminal investigations into a variety of opposition figures. And after recent cases of some DPP members being accused of spying for China, the opposition have also taken to labeling the ruling party as green communists, a nod to the party's color. Lai, responding to the protests, called them a part of a healthy democracy, one that proves the accusation of dictatorship false.
台湾朝野政党都是中国渗透的对象，因此不是只有绿共，也有蓝共、白共。要战独裁，确实的地方应该要去天安门，北京天安门，至少到中国去。
The move to recall Lai is just the latest in a months-long political battle over recall elections across the country, one that began almost as soon as the 2024 election ended with split executive and legislative branches. Now, dozens of legislators from both the KMT and DPP could face a recall vote as soon as this summer. But recalling Lai would be a different challenge altogether.
It's mostly an empty threat by the KMT. There's no precedent for this. They don't have the numbers to impeach him, if that's what they mean, because he needs 2/3 in the legislature. And even if you get that, then the Constitutional Court needs to decide. On the other hand, the KMT suggested organizing a referendum to impeach Lai. I'm also not sure how that would work. And I don't think the KMT has the numbers for that right now, actually.
While Lai is unlikely to be removed, it highlights the level of tension in Taiwan's ever more partisan politics. Tensions that seem destined to continue until something breaks the deadlock. Patrick Chun and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Shortly after the opposition protest ended, KMT Chair Eric Zhu headed to the police station for questioning. Police interviewed Zhu and 2 other KMT members, lawmaker Xie Longjie and spokesperson Crystal Yang, about a protest outside the Taipei District Prosecutor's office earlier this month. The KMT organized a sit-in outside the office after several of its members were arrested on suspicion of forging signatures on recall petitions. It is illegal in Taiwan to hold mass gathering in certain restricted areas, including outside prosecutors' offices. But Zhu says the government is using the legal system to suppress dissent.
今天不能让独裁者毁掉台湾，毁掉我们的团结，破坏我们的和平，伤害我们的民主。 甚至让我们的司法变成独裁者的工具。
The government has denied involvement in the cases and says it believes anyone who breaks the law should be held to account regardless of party affiliation. Pope Francis' funeral drew Taiwanese Roman Catholics of all stations, from representatives dispatched from Taipei to private believers touched by the late pontiff's papacy. John Van Trieste has more.
As mourners poured into St. Peter's Square for Pope Francis's funeral Saturday, Taiwan's special envoy Chen Jianren took his seat in the diplomatic stands, placed between Mauritius and Thailand. For Chen, Taiwan's former vice president, it's a mix of official duty and the deeply personal. Despite China's claims to Taiwan, the Vatican is one of 12 countries that still recognize Taiwan. By Chen's side was a full-fledged Taiwanese ambassador, Matthew Lee, and Chen had the chance to meet with the envoys of other countries. But beyond this moment of diplomatic clout, there's the fact that Chen is a devout Catholic. And unlike most of the over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, Chen actually met Francis, not once, but multiple times while still in government. Francis even recognized Chen's other achievements as a public health expert by naming him the second Taiwanese to the Pontifical Academy of Sciences. Chen says he hopes Taiwan's current administration will be represented at the next Pope's inauguration.
我还是很盼望，等到我们新的教宗，选出来以后呢，我们的赖总统可以代表国家来参加新任教宗的就职典礼。这我也在弥撒当中有特别祈祷。
Taiwan was represented beyond the level of officialdom. Though they are a small minority, Taiwan's Catholics have an active community nationwide. And some of them, whose lives Francis touched, felt moved to come pay their respects. Among them was this aspiring theologian from Taiwan, but now based in Rome.
在这样的氛围底下，变成说我在研究神学的时候，我是受到教会的鼓励的。所以这个东西，我觉得如果是在过去12年前的话，比较困难。
As memories of Francis's papacy linger, the eyes of Taiwan's Catholics from all walks of life will stay fixed on the Vatican for now, as a new pope is chosen and a new chapter in the history of this ancient institution begins. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
A Taiwanese fishing boat captain and his crew of 7 face charges over the killing of a dolphin for use as shark bait. Canadian authorities caught the crew trying to lure sharks with the remains of a protected dolphin in the Pacific last year. Prompted by a report from Canada, Taiwan has launched an investigation and found the crew violated Taiwan's own conservation laws. Environmental groups say this is not an isolated incident. They're urging Taiwan both to outfit its fishing boats with more tracking and monitoring gear and to step up inspections of boats in harbors. The Philippine military and their U.S. counterparts are engaged in massive war games known as Balikatan. As part of the drills, anti-ship missiles called Nemesis have been deployed to the Batanes, the Philippine islands closest to Taiwan. Our reporter Rick Glauer brings us more from the Philippines.
Here on the west coast of the Philippines, facing the South China Sea, the Philippines military and their US counterparts are practicing repelling a mock air attack. It's part of Balikatan 2025, massive joint US-Philippine war games. And for the first time, they're using a Marine Air Defense Integrated System, or the MADIS, brought in from the US. It's designed to strike down hostile enemy drones.
Extremely important that we learn from each other, that we are able to discuss coastal defense strategies, that we as the United States Marines are able to bring our weapon systems here to the Philippines to aid in that coastal defense concept.
These drills are taking place in an incredibly strategic location, the Zambales coast. China has been increasingly sending its military and Coast Guard boats into this area, asserting territorial claims in an area that the Philippines says belongs to it. These drills have been taking place more than 40 times, but by bringing new technology to this sensitive area, the Philippines, alongside its ally, the US, is sending a clear message that it's serious about facing up to evolving threats. Fuhua Hong, David Santosh and Rick Lowett in Zambales, the Philippines for TaiwanPlus.
An unconfirmed number of people are dead and injured after a car drove through a crowded street in the western Canadian city of Vancouver, according to police. The attack took place during the Filipino street festival known as Lapu-Lapu Day. The driver of the car is now in police custody. A local city councilor arrived at the scene just after the attack.
I don't even know what to say. This was a great day. Wonderful event. Huge community event. And have it end in tragedy like this, it won't break us or the community, but it's horrible.
The attack occurred just ahead of Canada's national elections on Monday. In Indonesia, the local film industry is making a big comeback with some help from homegrown horror stories. Lauren Padamore reports.
Indonesian cinema is seeing a resurgence, and it's stories like this one, taken from local folklore, that are topping the box office. In Indonesia, horror fills seats, making up 70% of all movie admissions last year, with over 50 million tickets sold.
The stories are so familiar with us because we heard about this kind of stories since we were a children. That's why it's very, very close to our culture, to our memory.
The film resurgence started from 2010 with new independent filmmakers turning to high-quality horror films, focusing on local stories. Some of these directors are now going commercial, paving the way for more projects. Indonesia produced 258 films last year, and 60% were horror.
Kalau Indonesia, mereka lebih menonjolkan kayak kearifan lokalnya di setannya gitu. Entah kayak itu pocong atau kuntilanak. Nah, kalau untuk di luar negeri, mereka lebih kayak ke demon, iblis, kayak gitulah.
That's Poaching, the spirit of a dead person wrapped in burial cloth, doomed to wander the earth, and well known and feared in Indonesian folklore. With such strong local support, Indonesia's film industry contributed $8.2 billion to the economy in 2022. And it's not yet peaked. Analysts project 6% growth by 2027 as Indonesian films reach more international audiences.
Our movies are already wanted in the Southeast Asia, in Asia, and some of them are traveling to the Western world. And yeah, we hope that our audience getting bigger and bigger.
By going local, Indonesia's film industry is aiming for the world, meaning you might just see ghosts like Poaching in a cinema near you. Chris Ma and Lauren Padamore for TaiwanPlus.
Gardening enthusiasts in India's cities are finding new ways to bring nature into people's homes and promote sustainable living in dense urban environments. Miriam Brunner tells us more.
India is among the countries most affected by rapid industrialization and climate change. It struggles with air pollution, rising temperatures, and topsoil erosion. Social inequalities are driving people out of rural areas and into sprawling urban centers, adding pressure on India's major cities, with some of the worst air quality levels in the world. It's an environment ripe for new solutions. Sustainability expert Kunal Jagdale sees urban gardening as an ideal way to decarbonize households.
It's an additional layer on your roof where it acts as an insulation to the heat that is being transferred inside the house. So it reduces, as I said, 5 to 7 degrees of Celsius, it will reduce heat that is coming inside the house. And apparently if heat is coming less, you will need lesser AC.
Based in Delhi, the world's second largest city, Mayank Sharma has turned his green thumb into a thriving business. He started his journey over a decade ago to cope with the death of his father, also a gardener. Now he has found success online, captivating over 300,000 followers on Instagram. He uses social media platforms to promote sustainability, educating viewers on how to transform their rooftops into mini gardens.
Imagine a Delhi where an aircraft lands or a drone flies by and there's no terrace which is not green, right? Which is not having fruit plants, vegetable plants. That'll be beautiful, right? And that's the idea behind all of this.
But gardening isn't just about living sustainably. As Mayank Sharma's story shows, it can also be a tool for healing. The founder of a business called The Greenish Affair, Aditi Qatar, shares how greenery helped her deal with mental health struggles and hopes to inspire others to do the same.
People actually started getting plants home because they come with the least responsibility as compared to pets and kids. So I started my journey like that only because I used to find my happiness here. I used to share it with the people, and I wanted people to know that how plants can actually help you overcome your stress or anxiety, or in my case, it was postpartum depression.
Terrace by terrace, roof by roof, these people are working to make urban Indian households more sustainable, inspiring others to add a touch of green to concrete spaces, improving their cities and their mental well-being. Joseph Oh and Miriam Brunner for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Follow us on social media for more of our stories. Finally, let's go to Osaka, where popular manga characters are being featured in Japan's World Expo Pavilion. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care, and I'll see you next time.